Are we back in meme coin trading season again? SPX6900 is up, while the rest of the market isn't doing as well. Let's have a look at the on-chain metrics. Let's see who's buying and selling here. Let's try to figure out what's driving the rally and whether or not it still makes sense to buy into SPX6900. Now, in case you're not aware, I'm publishing videos on SPX regularly over here. And the very first video came out 426 days ago. That's when the price was at 11 cents. So that was over here on the chart. And then the rest is history. If it's the very first time watching here, then feel free, of course, to subscribe. I try to cover projects very early on when there's still a lot of upside potential. Now, after the initial run up, SPX has been moving with the general altcoin market in a relatively stable range. So this is the SPX price relative to the others market cap. We tend to find a bottom somewhere around here. We tend to find a top somewhere around here. The dotted line, that's the average ratio of SPX to the altcoin market. The maximum outperformance in that trading range from top to bottom is roughly 400%. And we are very close to the equilibrium after the recent rally. Can we overshoot that equilibrium? Definitely. We have seen this just half a year ago. Now, the token is mainly traded on Ethereum, right? We've also got a version on Base. We've also got another one on Solana, but most of liquidity is on Ethereum. So because we've got this direct coupling of the SPX price to the Ethereum price, looking at that relative valuation also makes a lot of sense. And that's then this chart over here. It looks slightly different to the others market cap chart, and it does give us a bit more upside to the equilibrium, 26% from here. Now, why do we have more upside versus Ethereum than versus the general altcoin market? I think the reason is that Ethereum is medium term overvalued. This is the Ethereum market cap relative to the others market cap. So again, others just meaning the market cap of all the altcoins that are not in the top 10. And this tends to trade in a somewhat predictable range as well. The range got established at the end of 2017. And I believe there's a very good chance that Ethereum is going to underperform the average altcoin by roughly 40% in the next months. So buying into SPX over Ethereum is not necessarily just a bet on the individual altcoin. It's a bet on the altcoin market as a whole being undervalued. Now let's have a look at the on-chain metrics. Let's see who's actually holding the token and if the number of holders is going up or down. And let's distinguish between the small holders and the big holders. So small holders are holders, say, with $1,000. Medium-sized holders have $10,000. Large holders have $100,000. So on the Ethereum chain in total, we've got roughly 49,000 holders, but only 13,000 holders have 1,000 tokens. 3,500 holders have 10,000 tokens, and 700 holders have 100,000 tokens. We can see how retail bought quite aggressively in the fourth quarter of last year. But in 2025, SPX6900 didn't get that much more retail demand. We see a similar development for medium-sized retail with less relative growth. And the growth was the weakest for the largest wallets. They have even sold off everything now. So the larger the wallet is, the more pessimism we see. I don't really like doing it, but that's how the YouTube game works. That's how the algorithm works. Please give this video a like if what you've seen so far has been useful. Thank you very much. Let's have a look at the base chain. Here are 108,000 holders. Here are the same kind of charts. Again, we see a similar kind of development. Here, the retail investors even go down in number. We did not see that for the Ethereum chain. We can also see how even though the total number of wallets is higher for the base chain, when we just count the wallets that have at least $1,000 worth of the token, that's much smaller compared to Ethereum. So really, the base wallets just have a lot of very small holdings, while the Ethereum investor is more serious. It's also true for the whale wallets, right? There are 700 whale wallets on Ethereum, while there's only 30 whale wallets on Base. Let's also look at the Solana base token. There are 64,000 wallets here. And again, the trend is very much the same. The larger the wallet is, the more the number of holders is going down. Now, this is not necessarily a development we want to see, right? Because in general, the larger wallets tend to also make the better calls. Crypto is a game of both luck, but also of skill. And so if you have some skill, you tend to accumulate more and more wealth in crypto. And thus, you might have had some luck to become a whale, but you also might have had some skill. The people that have some capital tend to have more skill because luck balances out. Let's have a look at the medium term. So there's trading not just on the spot market, where we only saw 15 million worth of trading volume on Bybit. There's also the perpetual futures market, and this is really where price discovery happens. Here we had 750 million worth of trading volume. SPX6900 saw the October 10th crash as pretty much any other altcoin. Liquidity in the altcoin market dried up on that day and many people got liquidated. That includes SPX6900 speculative capital. There was 13 million worth of liquidations. But since then, things have normalized. The trading volume of the token is relatively constant on the perp market, while the open interest is rather low. And that's maybe the opportunity, because there is correlation between the spot price and open interest, right? When there's more speculative bets on the price, when there's more inherent leverage in the price, spot price tends to go up as well. So spot is the line in yellow, open interest is the area in green. There is correlation here, right? So when we are currently very low on open interest, there is the potential in the future for more speculation to move towards the asset, potentially pushing up the price again. That's of course far from certain, but at least we can say that the asset currently is not hyped. It's not like we are buying hype and become potential exit liquidity. And so while the token had a nice turnaround in the last few days, the development of the overall market still matters. And if Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana sells off, this will of course have impact on SPX as well. And that's my major concern, right? The long-term holders selling, it's even accelerating for Bitcoin. The long-term holders are selling off, they are exiting the market. They believe that the 4-year cycle is intact and that 2026 is going to be a bearish year. So yes, versus Ethereum, there might be some potential for SPX6900, but it's important to hedge this, right? To go long SPX and short Ethereum at the same time, that this delta can actually get captured. That if the market overall is going down, that you're not losing any money. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to give this a like. It helps the channel grow. Feel free to also subscribe. I publish videos regularly. Feel free to also check out the premium membership. This is where I share my own trades. We are currently making money during that crash. A link to premium pops up directly here on the screen. See you next time on YouTube or see you on premium. Cheers.